On the edge of darkness, a voice was born. At the crossroads of abandoned dreams, where fire trucks played the only rhythm of the night, a sound was born. It had no name, no protection. It had pain. It had a voice. The Bronx was forgotten, abandoned by the state, betrayed by the system. But the people remained, and they didn't stay silent. Instead, they made music. From ashes does not rise silence, but a song of resistance. More than 80% of residential buildings disappeared in fires, often deliberately set in search of insurance money. The street was reduced to ash, and the residents were left without homes, without hope, without a future. The Bronx didn't just burn, it bled. The fires weren't accidents, they were a tactic. Political invisibility turned into concrete ash. But right there, where everything was burned and lost, something new was born. From the ashes of darkness, light began to grow. Hip-hop was born. Music, movement, graffiti, a voice in the silence. A new language of the streets that screamed where no one wanted to listen. Born from pain, yet breathing freedom. The children didn't leave the sidewalks. Among the ruins, they searched for rhythm, and the rhythm came, in the form of turntables and extended breakbeats. When the flames consume everything, the heartbeat becomes the music of survival. When we talk about hip-hop, it all begins with one name, DJ Kool Herc. Born as Clive Campbell in 1955 in Jamaica, Herc arrived in the Bronx, New York as a teenager, at a time when buildings were burning, gangs ruled the streets, and music was the only escape. At school, they called him Hercules, because of his strength, height, and attitude. But his real strength was in his ears. He brought with him from Jamaica a deep love for sound systems, massive speakers that served as weapons against the silence of poverty. August 11th, 1973, a legendary date. In the recreation room of an apartment building at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue, his sister threw a party. Kool Herc set up his turntables and made history. He started playing only the break parts of songs, those raw drum sections, where the beat stood alone. Then he'd switch to the same break on another record, creating a looping rhythm that wouldn't let the body stop moving. That moment was more than music to many. It was a rhythm of freedom, of energy, of resistance. People danced, competed, expressed everything they had bottled up in the silence of the ghetto. DJ Kool Herc didn't invent music, but he invented a context where music became a movement. His most famous breaks came from rock and funk records, like Apache by the Incredible Bongo Band or Give It Up or Turn It Loose by James Brown. Some criticized him back then for stealing music, but in truth, he was building new art out of what already existed. He didn't use hits, he used energy. What fewer people know is that Herc never became a star in the commercial sense. No albums, no hit singles, no million-dollar contracts. While others, like Grandmaster Flash and Africa Bambaataa, built careers, Herc slowly faded from the spotlight. Why? Some say he refused to sell out to the industry. Others believe his own students pushed him aside when technical skills became more valued than original ideas. He was also attacked physically at the Hevelo Club, which affected his health and reduced his appearances. There are even theories that Herc truly understood the political power of music, that his breakbeats were more than rhythm. They were a silent call for rebellion, for equality, a voice within a system that kept people silent. Although he later felt forgotten, Herc never chased fame. For him, it was enough to see people dancing. Today, his name is mentioned with deep respect, but he remains a symbol of pioneers who gave everything and in return received legend, but not wealth. DJ Kool Herc teaches us that true revolution often starts in the basement, in a garage, in a community room that the system overlooks, but where the heart feels the beat. Hip-hop was not a single voice, but 4 lifelines, 4 hearts beating to the rhythm of rebellion, hope, and creativity. The DJ was the maestro of the pulse. His turntable didn't just play music, it opened portals to another world. Scratching records, loops, beats, that was his language. The MC, the street prophet, he carried truth in his tongue. His voice didn't just entertain, it shouted, "We exist." The b-boy defied gravity with his body. He danced on the edge of pain and passion, turning pavement into a stage of dreams. The graffiti writer, silent yet powerful, he transformed gray concrete into a colorful scream of freedom. The walls were his canvas, the messages, his revolution. These were our instruments, our tools, our struggle. When everything is taken from you, you're left with one thing, the power to create from nothing. And that's exactly what hip-hop did. Hip-hop wasn't born in studios or behind the curtains of major record labels. It was born where childhood broke, among empty refrigerators, shattered windows, and dreams buried in concrete. It wasn't a music genre. It was therapy for the soul, a lesson in survival. Because when the system denies you a voice, you create your own. When they don't give you space, you claim a wall. When they won't let you on the stage, you build one yourself, on the pavement, under flickering streetlights, with a boombox pounding like the heart of the whole block. Hip-hop was more than art. It was a weapon without bullets, education without a classroom, politics without an election, prayer without an altar. Every DJ mix was a message. I'm still here. Every rhyme, you can't silence me. Every dance move, my body speaks what words can't. Every graffiti tag, this is my mark, and no one's erasing it. This was music for those no one wanted to hear, but also for those who knew how to listen between the lines. In every corner of the Bronx, between crumbling buildings and burned out dreams, a new culture was being born. It had no sponsors, no backing, no budget. All it had was people and their need to say something. And so those 4 elements, DJ, MC, b-boy, and graffiti writer, became the foundation of an entire civilization. Not a civilization of power, but of resistance. Not of fame, but of dignity. The first legends, voices that made us heard. Hip-hop was chaos, noise, a shot in the dark. But then they came, the first legends, the ones who turned chaos into a voice, and that voice into a message. Africa Bambaataa wasn't just a DJ. He was a warrior who created peace. His music didn't just shake the speakers, it shook consciousness. He founded the Zulu Nation, a movement that united gangs, transformed rage into knowledge, and violence into culture. At his parties, you didn't find enemies, you found brothers. Grandmaster Flash was a scientist of sound. His hands were instruments, his records textbooks of street life. And then came the track that changed everything. The message wasn't just another song, it was a slap of truth. Don't push me 'cause I'm close to the edge. There was no more running from reality. This wasn't a beat for dancing, it was a beat for thinking. It was the moment when even those at the top had to turn and listen to what was rising from the bottom. Those were the days when words began to hurt and to heal, when the street got its first microphone. From the East Coast to the West Coast, from the lights of Harlem to the dangerous streets of Compton, hip-hop was more than music. It was a movement. Run DMC walked the pavement like kings. No glamour, just chains around their necks and lyrics that changed the streets. With Adidas on their feet and hats turned back, they sparked a revolution that broke all the rules. NWA shattered the silence like thunder. They said what hurt, what burned, what everyone whispered but no one dared to scream. Straight Outta Compton wasn't just an album. It was a slap to America, a raw and unfiltered truth. Queen Latifah didn't just rap. She wore a crown of pride, dignity, and female resistance. She brought power where women had long been ignored. Her voice became a weapon. Public Enemy awakened the masses. With messages against the system, they became the alarm clock of a generation. Skin color, economic gaps, and police brutality. All of it found rhythm in the beat. Every rhyme was a bullet, every battle, a new verse in the fight for respect. Biggie and Tupac, two stars that shone brightly but burned out too soon. Their words were more than just rhymes. They were confessions, diaries of pain, love, betrayal, and the streets. While they built bridges with words, the industry dug trenches of sensation. In that noise of greed, we lost two voices. Voices we truly heard only after they fell silent. The hip-hop world trembled in the silence they left behind. But even in death, their music didn't stop. It still breathes between the lines and the beat, because hip-hop remembers. And when it hurts, it speaks even louder. Hip-hop didn't ask for permission. It kicked down doors long closed to the poor and oppressed. This is the story of a microphone that became a megaphone for the voiceless, and it never went silent again. Today, hip-hop doesn't belong to just one place. It's everywhere. It breathes in the rhythm of Tokyo's subways, jumps through the streets of Lagos, and whispers among the graffiti of Paris. It may wear different clothes, but the same blood runs through its beats. That raw rebellion, that primal honesty, still echoes in every verse. As long as there are unheard voices, hip-hop will be their megaphone. As long as there are walls, it will write. As long as there's silence, it will roar. And somewhere, a child holding a mic isn't rapping for fame, but because they know words can change the world. If you're wondering what hip-hop is, just look around you. In the rhythm of footsteps, in the stories on the walls, in the voices that no longer stay silent. And as long as there is truth, there will be a beat. Hip-hop isn't over. It's only beginning. Hip-hop is here. Hip-hop is you.